And welcome to TNT Sports as the drivers have been called to their race vehicles. I am joined here with Connor Meyer.
Hello.
And we are here at the famed Irwindale Speedway in California for today's running of the Tom Dale's 150. So we're going to start by going through the field. You guys are also going to notice some new cars. We will point them out as we go through. Our front row, we have pole sitter Kenny Burrow, his first time pole in his Money Lion Ford Mustang, starting alongside Elusive Man's 28.
And starting third is the number 12 of Aaron Gabron. And on the side of him is Big Rick Johnson in the number 2 car.
That brand new 2 car he's got running this time. Some actual numbers on that car finally. Big Man is starting on the third row inside line alongside his teammate Thor Gunderson. Got some chase drivers starting alongside each other and teammates.
And behind them is number 79 of Osborne and the 93 of Kevin Campbell.
And behind them we got Ryan DeLusso and the Tracker Boats Chevy, all starting alongside the Pedigree 37 of Scott Vickers.
And then behind them is number 29 of Connor Meir and the 21 of Aaron Douglas.
And behind Meir we have the 51 Bang Energy Drink Toyota. That is the teammate of him. Titus Strobelabber is starting in his number 88 for Manco Motorsports.
The number 36 of Joey Sanders and the number 24 car of Scott Porter.
And behind them we got Russ Blackwell starting alongside Trenton McPherson, his Royal Purple Dodge.
Anissa Johnson in the number 27 and the number 15 of David Walsh.
And behind the 27 is going to be Caitlin Marie in her Tabasco 92. And starting alongside the new driver for Nexus Racing, that is Jonathan Rains in the Dr. Pepper 77 Ford.
There's the number 91 of Tim Salmon and the 62 of Joseph Onesto.
And then we got Luis McClure in the Royal Purple Dodge, starting alongside Andrew Weisbecker, now full-time for Southern Pride Racing.
Austin Yoakum is in the number 10 and Kyle Keith is in the 42.
Spencer Davis in his PureTech Ford is starting alongside the Dude Wipes 35.
Ben Thomas in the Jiffy Lube 9 and Evan Coward in the 83.
Jay Langelier starting alongside Brad Smith in his Nikon 22.
The number 5 of J.R. Lemon in the Napa Brakes car and the number 99 of Todd Castile.
And rounding out the field, we have the twin procrastination cars. We have Brandon Crasta starting alongside Quinn Iso. Kind of unfortunate to see that team, especially with the new car, both starting in the rear.
Yeah, they just really not have any sort of luck this year, either one of those cars.
We got a pretty Dodge-heavy top 10, and also a lot of Fords also starting up at the front of this field, too. Been a nice rebound for that manufacturer, and Dodge certainly showing a strong presence this weekend.
Dodge still trying to win their first race of the season, having a really good qualifying effort with 4 cars in the top 6.
And speaking of that, with this, we have something special with this race. FARCA officials have been discussing new rules for the following season after this, and some of these rules will be taking effect immediately. One of those is going to be the fact that the field size has now been increased to 38 cars. Teams are now allowed to run 4 full-time cars as well as a 5th part-time vehicle that can participate at super speedway races for a maximum field eligibility of 43 cars.
Man, it's definitely going to make these these shorter tracks a lot more entertaining with all these cars banging side by side. There should be constant racing now all over the track.
Easily, and wow, that looks like Deluso immediately off the start just had an engine failure. My bad, that was a 79.
79 of Osborne.
That'll be a bit unfortunate for him. Field is tracking around right now. We will start off with 37 cars now. Another thing to easily point out with this race, this is in no way going to be easy. This is going to be our first of two quote-unquote endurance races. We have 150 laps at a track that is grueling on tires, not easy on gas. It won't be a walk in the park, basically, for these guys.
No, it definitely won't. You're going to see who has the best equipment today.
And to start off with that equipment mentioned is the surprising jump to the front of the field of the 21 of Aaron Douglas, already leading this race.
He moved his way up really quickly. He started decent ways back.
He'd spent no time wasted, but we got another Dodge trying to move around him with other plans. Another car that was off on pit road. Another failure we had was the number 15. That is David Walsh. Two cars also on pit road for penalty reasons is the number 9 and 10. Quite a little bit of a mix-up here, starting off this race immediately. Benjamin Thomas and chase racer Austin Yoakum.
Yeah, that's definitely not good for Ben there, having that issue. He pretty much needs a win to get in.
Yes, it is one of those drivers it's just about required, and even more strength intensified now. That Jiffy Lube car for him has not been good luck. He has had multiple wrecks with that car, despite the little amounts of races it's had.
He really hasn't had too much luck in really any of his cars, honestly.
No.
Even, the usual Pennzoil car for him has been pretty bad.
Need something to change or turn around in that team. Something to mention too, newcomer Jonathan Rains. He has worked his way steadily up into the top 10. That car is currently scored in the 8th position, so not bad for a season debut in that 77 car.
It's a single car operation. Nexus Racing is the name of the team.
Well, they certainly are keeping that going pretty well. I mean, if for choosing Ford, it's kind of a gutsy move they had to make. They know it's not a strong manufacturer, especially right now.
The biggest Ford operation we have in there is best in the world, and they have 4 cars. But the rest of the Fords, other than procrastination, they're all just single car operations.
So hopefully he can keep that car, keep it booking up and moving, as he unfortunately does get passed. But I'm sure he will make some adjustments. He still has quite a bit to learn. Trenton, in his first scored full-time race, is leading the race currently with 2 Dodges following behind him from Manco Motorsports.
And the number 1 of Thor Gunderson, he's tried for the last 3 weeks to get a win. He's just had, he got passed while leading one time, and then caution got him last week where he finished 3rd.
Field is kind of struggling to settle in. We've had so many different and lead changes. Currently, right now, our big mover is we're keeping an eye on that 36 car of Joey Sanders and racing at Ollie's Toyota again. And he's brought that car from quite a. Where did he start?
Well, he started outside the top 10 for sure. I think he was about 14th, 15th.
It's about a position to lap, so that car's been consistently fast.
That's the same car he won in at, I think it was Dover.
Check out the 2 of Big Rick Johnson, though. He's going for the lead now. This will be the first time he's led, I believe, all season.
I think so. His new single car operation, Marathon Motorsports, after being released from Manco before Watkins Glen.
Well, there we go.
You can see that car still not quite put together yet. They're just needed a little bit more time.
I mean, obviously, fantastic for him. He's finally actually been able to do some things to the car. And kind of like a cheeky, snarky thing, if you notice in the back of his car, it says, "Elusive man, stay back 500 feet," and he has Plan B written on the nose of the car. So he's got some confidence going into this race.
I mean, that's a pretty good Plan B from going racing last to leading the race.
Definitely is. If you can't beat him, find a way to do so, and he is definitely doing that. As we have dodged, but now the one car trying to move himself around the 36, and he does. They are scored 1st through 4th from the winless manufacturer.
This is, I mean, we're only 15 laps into a 150-lap race, but this is starting to look like their best chance all year.
Definitely is, but there are Toyotas still lingering in the back. Those 2 Supreme Motorsports cars, that's one of the best teams we've got racing out here right now. Don't ever count them out, especially now that the 37, that car operation's been full-time now.
Yeah, that's a team that just started this year before Daytona, and they already have 2 wins.
Locked into the chase, and they've got multiple drivers. That is an absolute position of where you would want to be. Nice to see also best in the world staying in the top 10. It's been a while since that team has actually been consistent besides the obvious of Spencer Davis.
Yeah, Spencer Davis, even after having a relatively uneventful Watkins Glen, he ended up retaking the points lead.
So some big point implications too. Because of the penalties of the illegal cars, one of them being an illegal engine from the 9 car, and the other one was the nose cone of the 10. Both have been given the option to repair or be disqualified from the race. So the 9 car is thrashing to get a new engine put in that car so they can come out and turn some laps. The 10 car having to be able to hang a new body at the racetrack may be difficult for Yoakum to get that car back out into the track.
I mean, I guess the only really good news for them is this is a really long race, so they have plenty of time.
Yes, they do. But they need to get that under order if they want to have any of that changed. Meanwhile, the 21 has caught back up, and also the 93 has moved his way into the top 5. It is now the highest placed Ford. That is Kevin Campbell in his manufacturer-sponsored vehicle. About to get dumped by 2 Royal Purple cars, though, if he doesn't get out of their way.
Oh, those Dodges aren't playing around today. They want a win, and they want it today.
They sure do. Douglas trying to move his way back up to the front as he goes into 3rd, and now has to chase down Big Rick Johnson. Elusive Man and Titus are also hanging in there. A lot of Manco cars. Definitely having a great run today. Big Man, who is normally also up there, he's scored in the 16th position right now.
He's just kind of biding his time right now.
It's not a bad move. I mean, we're still so early into this race, and so much can happen. We have pit stops coming up, and typically this is a track known that's difficult to use the pit road here. That can cause a lot of issues and implications during those pit cycles. So we may see some drastic changes in the field, especially when we also start reaching lap traffic like we are right now. Gunderson is approaching Procrastination's cars as we speak.
Just another rough outing for that team.
It's so unfortunate that exact car he ran was one of the cars that led, was their best engine, and said engine blew while leading that race. So that team just never can really seem to catch a break. And then Ford, ever since they have had a couple here and there wins, they struggle. They cannot keep. They're so inconsistent in this body.
He's not letting the leader pass him easy, though.
No, I mean, he's going to hope for a caution to come up, or you got to see that group of guys in front of him, hoping maybe that something will happen there. You want to retain that lap as best you can. You don't want to lose a lap this early in the race, because then you'll never see it back. As we do have a car pulling off, that is Jared Lemon and his Camaro. He has blown what appears to be an engine. We will see later what is going on with that car, but like I said, this is a tough and grueling racetrack. It's not easy on these engines.
And that's definitely probably not the last engine failure we're going to have today.
No, we will have quite a few people failing. It appears, yes, very similar issue as to what happened with the 79 car. Another piston failure. Another motor finally gave out on the rotating assembly. That's two Chevrolets with the same issue. I mean, it's got to be worrying for the other Chevys.
Oh, definitely. You know, for two cars, now they are different teams, but for both of them to have the same issue, that's not a good feeling.
No. You see those four Dodges breathing down the neck of that 63 car. And look at that, Elusive Man and Bigger Johnson driving the same cars, second and third.
I don't think Elusive Man's following that tag on the back of the two cars.
No, but he's got a clear view of it. I'm sure that somebody, I personally wouldn't be happy to see that. I mean, he's directly taunting you in your old backup car. Now passing your teammate, I mean, that's interesting. He's now trying to get around Thor on the outside. They will take this probably 3 wide. Very smart for Baver Johnson not to do that. He's on the back bumper pushing the 63 rather than trying to move around him. That is one way to get the lead.
That 63 is also showing that he does not want to be passed.
No, he is trying hard, fighting tooth and nail. Langelier now putting the block, letting a fellow Dodge go. Contact there, the 63 tried to cut off the one going into the corner. I would be really frustrated if I were Gunnarsson.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the one car ends up dumping the 63.
Now over a move like that, a lapped car putting a block to him like that. Because now not only did he lose the lead, he's going to lose more spots as Elusive Man easily glides around him. Elusive Man now is trying to put the move to Big Rick Johnson. Lap traffic is playing a key role. They have heavy traffic in front of them. We get to see them fight through it now. A bump from the one car, trying to help his teammate rotate around the corners. It is Dodge versus Dodge right now. Two Fords are backing him up.
How fast, these 3 Dodges are. And then you have the 19 and the 91, who are also both Dodges, getting lapped.
And that same team of Lubricar Motorsports, they themselves continue to struggle big time, which is quite unfortunate because they all are running the same SRT engines. They are all running the same equipment. The bodies are all hung by the same people. The engines are all dyno tuned by the same people. So it's like, what is going on with that team? Why are they not performing? And Manco Motorsports was able to get around the lap traffic, but man, is Big Rick, he is struggling to get around those Fords right now. Gunderson and Elusive Man are trying to check themselves out of this field. Gunderson is moving quite fast around this traffic with ease.
About to catch up to another Dodge.
That is the 87 of Luis McClure of Western Auto Racing, scored in the 25th position behind Kyle Keith.
He had a really good start to the season, and lately he's had just a string of bad finishes that's taken him out of the top 10 in points, I believe.
So he is more of like a a big speedway track car. Now that we've been at these short tracks and road courses, he's been taken out of his edge. This is not his good place to be, but I feel that once we return to the other tracks that we will be just fine. We have quite an incident going on here. We got the car number 12 of Gabron has stuck onto the racetrack. That will bring the caution out. Let's see if we can figure out what went wrong. What caused such an incident? That was directly behind where we were watching. I'm surprised we didn't catch that. See, the 12 was slowed up there. Caution flag was already out on the field. It looks like somebody had slid up. We can watch that here. We have this camera. It was Brad Smith that got spun around. And then something happened to the 12.
Right behind the leaders.
So in an attempt, looks like he did not pit. And some contact from pit road leaves a 72 and 28 with some substantial damage. 60 had also hit them. Again, this pit road, like we said, it's not the easiest pit road to deal with. There's not a lot of room, and drivers get pretty antsy getting on and off that pit road, so they just gotta watch out more for that, I guess. Again, these cars here also feel is not exactly updated. Some other words too. The 8 car of Big Man, very unfortunate. A driver who's winless has had a tire failure.
See, that's gonna hurt him, but he's high enough in the points to where it shouldn't be too bad on him.
No, and he's the driver. That's probably why he was actually further back. He was having an issue with the tire. So that makes up a lot. Makes a lot of sense as to what was going on.
Now, he can get put into win now mode also, though, if we have another first-time winner.
It's kind of interesting as to what we have going on here. Some drivers elected to stay out, and because of that, we have only a few cars on the lead lap. We have 3 cars that did not pit at all. That would be the 78 of Trent McPherson with Western Auto Racing, Joey Sanders in the 36 of Supreme Motorsports, and the 62 of Team Racing or Team Motorsports.
That's Joseph Onesto for Team.
They did not pit at all. Other drivers elected to wave around so they could get back. Well, it was back on the lead lap. So we now head back to green. Caitlin got kind of loose there. Good save, though. Those drivers checked up. As they are coming down the... Yeah, see, they're coming back down the pit road. There we go. That 78 car of Trenton trying to work his way around the 42. Drivers who did not get their chance to pit are now making their opportunity to come down. One of those was of the 3, that is the 62.
A lot of interesting, strategies going on.
There's 87. Well, we're kind of approaching the window era, which is around the 90 to 100 lap mark. So if this does for some reason stay green, this is your chance. The other drivers in would all have to pit again, or you could use this as an advantage to getting that lap back after that kind of wild in-between caution we had. .78 though, still having that little over a second from the 36 car. He's still scored as your current leader. Johnson, who is on the lead lap, is trying to work her way around, having some help there for the leader, letting all those other vehicles go. Gabron in the 62 still scored as well on the lead lap.
Yeah, the 78 actually finished second last week. So close to getting his first win.
We have another caution that looks like this may be for the 24 car of Scott Porter. That car has got some damage and some issues. It's like his was just kind of slowed up. I'm wondering what may have been the issue there from that yellow. See if we can find out what exactly happened. Not seeing what may have gone wrong. I think it may have been for the 24 being slow on the front stretch like that. And man, some heavy damage to that 95 car. They have had to remove the whole front end.
Himself a modified now.
So that'll help reset some of those vehicles that were able to make the choices to come back down. That helps out the 27, 12, 62, and now 42 as well. After that, quite the confusion we had with cautions that were going on. Some of that getting sorted out. Some drivers making good strategy to gain their laps back, so good on them. Probably some purposefulness coming from the Western Auto Racing crew to let the 27 get back on the lead lap and now caught up. 36 is electing to come down to pit road. I wonder how many others will follow with that.
Doesn't look like many.
Salmon, one of the few good drivers of Lubricar Motorsports, currently scored in the 7th position. He is the highest of that team right now. Looks like 36 was the lone wolf on pit road right now. Second caution of the night. 56 of 150 laps have been completed tonight. At this nice short track, what are you seeing right now? I'm seeing tires that need to be saved.
Tires, definitely.
Also, well, mention that needs to be told, the 77 upon his first race here has now pulled off the racing service. We are down to 31 of the 38 cars that started this race.
I don't know, he might have started and parked that car, honestly. It might be his only car, you know, showing up to this race as a new team. Maybe saw how crazy he was getting, decided to just park because, I mean, he can't really win the championship this year, so he's just out there getting experience.
Not a bad choice. As we start off the Western Auto Racing cars, and they get 3 wide of Dodge cars going into the first corner. Johnson, wasting no time, goes straight to the lead. It's been a while since she's led, so good to see her. And wow, Gabron has got some speed too.
Yeah, the 27 car has really turned it around as of late.
Whatever adjustments they made on that last pit stop, it brought that car to life. Wow. Didn't really give a chance for any of the lap cars. Weisbecker just dropped down to pit road. None of these lap cars really could take advantage of getting back on the lead lap. The leaders have just taken off this time. One of the cars there that has scored a few laps down, that's Brad Smith, who was spun out for the first caution. He is on a roll, moving quickly. The 36 is just now re-entered the racing surface. The 22 has moved chase contender Kyle Keith out of the way. That kind of backfired on him, but he is racing quite aggressively. He wants to get these laps back. And the 12 car side slaps him. 62 kind of just cut him off. Almost had a big wreck there on the backstretch.
The 62 pulls it into pit road.
That 22 car is 2 laps down. He's trying to get at least one of them back and wait for the next cycle. These Ford cars may be a lap down here, but they're trying to help out the best they can. They're able to push each other around these corners. Big on second, Kyle Keith. He's trying to catch up to Johnson, who is currently leading this race.
Pretty interesting top 5 so far this race.
Yeah, I mean, despite Titus, who just pulled off and he's now a lap down. I mean, he's currently racing up there trying to get his lap back. But the 78, he's just kind of chilling right now in the back. There's so many cars lap down, he's not really too concerned about them going anywhere. Gabron trying to get himself up there. He's a driver for a potential second win along with Kyle Keith in second. And then newcomer Johnson, I mean, she's got about a 2-second lead right now, but she's going to kill those tires. They're already catching some lap cars, too.
When you have this many cars a lap down, though, you really don't need to run as hard as she is right now.
No, I mean, unless she's just trying to catch these lap cars and get around them. That way she can put some time on them a little easier than it normally would be. We've got Andrew Weisbecker and a very heavily damaged Kenny Mambrella, who was our pole sitter.
It's been definitely a rough day for them.
Yeah, he's currently running in the 30th position, 3 laps down. That's really unfortunate for them. Tide is still trying to make his way around the 42. And then he needs to make a move on Gabron. There he goes. And nice. Just drove it right into the corner and made it stick. That's a man on a mission right there. Now moving around Gabron. That car is flying. So he has one more car to pass and he'll be back on the lead lap. And he just needs to wait for a caution and just continue driving through the field.
Those Dodges still have speed. They're just all trapped a lap down.
Yeah, it's just they got caught up with a good move of a few cars, decided not to pit, and that caused quite some interesting issues as far as scoring. But you got to take gambles like that to win. It's kind of spot security right there as Gabron moves Gunnarsson out of the way.
Johnson's trying to get some of those halfway bonus points. Yeah,
she's a few laps away, and she's got a 3-second lead. She is got to be happy with that. Tide is still trying to catch her. It's got some distance. And that car is absolutely flying.
If he can get around the 27 and then I'll have a caution come out, he's going to be in really good position.
He really would be, but I don't know if he can because Every lap she's put down a really fast time. She gained 0.7 of a second over Gabron on that previous lap. Gabron, though, who was stuck heavily in traffic from other lapped vehicles. And that, as I noticed, like I said, warned her too. I said, don't burn out the tires. I think she has burned out the tires. As Gabron and Titus are now catching with traffic. But that was a given. But she knows how hard she can push the car now. So now we wait for the 88 to catch, because he will eventually pass, which will also allow the 91 to also be on the lead lap. Deluso, that 60 car, has finally resurfaced. There is some heavy damage to the front end of that car. They have initially removed basically the whole nose and tried to repair that trunk.
And another car moving up is the 92.
Definitely has. That is Caitlin, the previous race winner, her Tabasco Toyota. She is trying to help in the close down of the 27, who may have found a better racing line. They are now a good 5 seconds ahead, but the 88 is still able to catch her little by little. So still plenty of time, though, for all of this to happen.
As we've passed halfway.
As we are past that halfway, let's go ahead and take a moment just to some wonderful cars. Nice new visuals provided by the TNT. Johnson leads with an insane 8.5-second margin over the 42 car.
Yeah, she's starting to kind of run away with it now.
I'm sure she's got to be quite happy with that after just the terrible luck she's had with this season. I mean, almost removed from this car twice, only was saved at this particular race because of the new rule, proving she's worth the stick around.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting you say that, because she was about to get pulled out of the car, and Trenton was about to go full time, and then FARCA announced that we're gonna have the bigger fields, and that pretty much saved her ride, and now she's out here leading.
Here's also another weird stat, and I hate to pull the female card. If she wins, this would be the first time FARCA would have a back-to-back female wins.
That is correct, yes.
Because before, when Francie Davis was here, sure, she has the most wins, but she never won back-to-back.
Yeah, she has the most wins in the history of FARCA at 4. That just shows you, though, how many, 4 wins has the most all time, but that just shows you how many, different winners we have every year.
It's a very competitive racing series. I mean, most of the time you have your obvious guys who are always running up front, which we do here, but it's just insane by how many different cars are able to do so. And to point out with the guys who are always running up front, somebody who had a terrible start and somehow can manage his way up to the top 10. He's always there by the end. I just noticed Spencer Davis, his 30 Pure Tech, has now been scored inside the top 10 after starting 30th.
Yeah, he started way behind. He actually got lapped before that first caution, and now he's up in the top 10 because everybody else is a lap down.
Taking it all for a ride as he moves that car around. Look how far back this car still is in the field and still scored in 10th. Did move back, he's 11th, but he's working his way back around to that 2 car already. 2 car who was leading earlier before, he's now also lapped down. A lot of cars trying to fight for these positions right now. Darn Gunderson scored off the race as well. Had some sort of failure going with the vehicle, waiting for the team to tell them. That's something that's majorly unfortunate for a driver as consistent as he's been, and a very bad day for Manco Motorsports.
Yeah, especially because that one car was leading at one point, was running in the top 10 all day, and just to have a failure like that.
Not a good thing for them. That leaves us with 30 cars. See teammate Titus still trying to catch a 27. He's really the only car that would be competitive with her at this point, but he is unfortunately a lap down. The driver now scored in second has regained his movement back. That is the DeWalt 12 of Aaron Gabron.
So Daytona winner.
Him and Keith, 2 previous race winners, are front to back to each other, trying to move around some lap traffic.
Lap traffic, moving around lap traffic.
Hard enough as it is, when you know you've got a car that's fast enough, you just can't freaking go anywhere. I'm going to see as he crosses the line. I believe it looks like he is gaining. Yeah, and indeed he is. He just needs to...
It's a little bit. It's not a whole lot, but it's definitely gaining.
I mean, time-wise, if he could keep that up, he would catch, because that's half a second a lap, which would be... He would be there by like about lap 130. He just needs to keep passing cars, not be held up like he is right now. Another car on pit road right now. There's a 55 of Russ Blackwell making a green flag pit stop. Got some new Goodyear Eagles on that car.
Yeah, he had I think an engine failure or something last week at Watkins Glen.
He did after running pretty well as well. He just couldn't keep that car going any longer and it finally let go. That was quite an unfortunate race for him, but he is back out here, and currently right now he's scored the 29th position. He's 4 laps down. So Titus about to make a move on him. There's his 62, making another green flag stop. This vehicle is running out of fuel. It's going to be interesting here. We'll see when the leaders decide to come down pit road and what they may take.
27 has started to catch those cars again.
Now see, this hit up of a field is also going to cause her to slow up. But man, Titus cannot get around Blackwell.
Blackwell's also got those new tires though.
That is true. I think the 12 LeBron has pitted.
Actually, the 78 is pretty close to getting put a lap down.
Yeah, he is. If he just doesn't hurry it up, he's going to be put a lap down. Johnson has caught that field. Just past that field is her teammate. Let's see what happens though without she has to fight through all these cars. Doesn't seem to actually be hurting her any. So you're brought all the way back over here, but he's got a mess of cars he has to deal with himself. That's quite a difference in the field. Listen, man, on pit road.
He was having a pretty good run going.
Currently scored in the 10th position, right behind Bigger Johnson in 9th. And it looks like Todd Castile's Lord Cone 99, his motor just let go, going around to the front stretch.
That's another Chevy with an issue like that.
We're not seeing a caution yet. Looks like he'll make his way safely off the racetrack. Man, that is very unfortunate for another Chevy like that to go down. He was currently running in the 21st spot. First car 3 laps down. Unfortunate for him. Teammate Weisbecker in 20th. Looks like it was a header failure. Not what he wanted to see.
Not what Chevy wanted to see.
No. Another motor down. Ron was able to gain about a second, but it's nothing really he could really deal with at all. Johnson's still kind of held up right now, but what more can you do, you know?
The fresh tires on the 55 are actually finally starting to pay off.
Not doing too terrible. 27th position, better than what we said about him last time. Another important thing is he's still running.
So we have 30 laps to go.
Johnson's still leading. She may even lead the most laps today.
It'd be interesting to see when she decides to pit, though.
I know, she's been out there for quite a while, but I also can tell her car is not exactly on pace. She's still, in fact, scored. If I can find this. So we are under caution now. Let's try to find where she was scored, timing-wise, on the field. Not too sure what happened to bring out this yellow flag, but we are currently under a yellow flag situation. Let's see if we can figure out, maybe see what went down. Looks like I see more tire marks. Sure as to what happened. But that's going to help out big time with our leaders pitting and getting a lot of stuff done, because we have cars on the lead lap. And when I'm talking we have cars on the lead lap, I'm talking we have all cars back on the lead lap.
On the lead lap, finally.
So some scoring errors have been fixed. 21 is being scored as the leader. That's Aaron Douglas, 60 behind him. The 28 of Elusive Man, Tiny Trouble Ladder in 4th. Evan Coward currently scored in the 5th position. Kevin Campbell, 93. Scott Porter in 24th. We have Biggert Johnson in 8th. 35 is scored in the 9th position. Bambura is in 10th.
Is that the fastest lap?
Oh, my bad. I was reading that completely wrong.
And okay.
Yeah, completely disregard everything I just said. Apparently, I need coffee.
Well, I mean, it is a night race, and we're pretty deep into it now.
However, she did pit, and 42 did not.
Still only 4 cars on the lead lap, not everybody like we thought.
Like, I brought him at one point. Looks like he pitted and stayed out too long, maybe, because he did lose that lap and is currently just sitting ahead of the field. So he's about to go a lap down. But Kyle Keith is now scored as the leader.
It'll be interesting to see if he can hold off the 27 now and get that second win.
And don't forget the 78 being cycled back around. Another really fast Dodge is now in third. So he's got two Western Auto cars breathing down his neck.
So it more than likely might come down to those three cars.
You have a really fast car who's a lap down. That is a 92 in the 5th position. So we get ready. Gotta watch that outside line. It is going to move. Remember that 12 car is not actually leading the race. You're going to have 23 laps. This is where things make it a little hectic. Green flag is being waved, waiting for the 12 to lead him off. 42 scored as the leader. Johnson immediately looking to the outside. 42 trying to go as fast as he can to get around that 12 car and just get the hell out of there. 78 and 27 are pushing each other through the corner, trying to get those Dodges moving.
As the 42 clears the 12.
12 goes to put the block. 27 swings that car wide. She is moving straight around that car. That'll be great for her to take advantage of the catching up. 92 car, that is Caitlin Marie. She is trying as well, making it 3 wide going around that corner. That Toyota as well is just bursting with speed.
It's got speed, but it's still a lap down, which is probably one of the worst feelings.
I mean, yeah, she can now contend for going straight to the lead, but is not technically able to have the lead. Is terrible. Wow, Tim Salmon almost took the bumper off the 35 there. These guys are struggling as hard as they can to get up there, you know. Getting a lap back and getting scored above some cars is a huge help. Listen, man, that Dodge is also flying.
A lot of these cars that showed speed earlier in the race, showing that they still have speed, they're just a lap down. They can't really do anything with it.
A lot of these cars are definitely beat up. They are just trying to hold on. In traffic, not enough speed for that 27 car. They are trying to move along, but it's just not able to get something to stick and rotate. Those Toyotas right now trying to catch the 42. Those cars are both a lap down. That 35 Dude Wipes car.
And the 42 is doing what the 27 did, got that clean air and is now running away.
Clean air is a huge help. I mean, we may only be at a short track, but I mean, everything helps, right?
Not having cars in front of you definitely helps, that's for sure.
Pretty much another almost for Dodge.
Well, we don't know for sure yet.
This is true. Another late race caution could really throw this thing around. As I say, throw this thing around. A car was almost spun. 3 wide right now with those lapped cars.
That 24, they found some speed in that car again.
Currently the first car scored 2 laps down. That is in the 9th position. As a teammate to the current leader. Tim Salmon in the 5th position, a lap down, also moving around these cars quite quickly. Penzo high mileage Dodge. Looking to take down the 24 car next.
If everything continues the same way, that'll be, I think, his best finish of the year.
That would be. He's now in the 4th position as he moves around the 35. He is the first car scored a lap down right now. Now, around the 24, he's trying to get his lap back. '91 sure does have some speed.
As we have under 10 laps to go now.
22 scored as later. That's Kyle Keith, who would be our first repeat winner of the season.
And the first driver to be completely guaranteed a spot in the chase.
Yes, because as you normally do have these multiple winners, this is exactly what you need, is a second win. The two Western Auto cars still are front to back with their other teammates. They're kind of just resting at this point, making sure that they get home in the 2nd and 3rd spot. For both of these cars, it is an excellent points day. You can't be dissatisfied with a good points day.
No. If you can't win it, you go for the points. And, the 27 had the chance, was more than likely going to win it until that caution came out earlier. And, there's still a chance, there still could be another caution.
Would be a race ending, but for some reason that the 42 was low on fuel, that could be a big implication on him.
Or have an engine failure like last week.
It has happened before. So it can always happen to be approached with 5 laps to go. He is in one of those notorious Chevys right now, which have had multiple failures all race long.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if he's starting to think about that too, though. Those other cars, they kind of went up. With their failures.
Probably just taking it really easy right now. You don't want to blow up going towards the end of this race. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's one of the better drivers in the team. He's got to have the best equipment.
Yeah, you can have the best equipment when you're the team owner, I guess, huh?
That's true. That would not be a good day to be an engineer at that race team. We have just a few laps to go now. Kyle Keith wanting to pull one of the most hardest things to do in FARCA. That's be a repeat winner.
And this would be 2 wins, and each in a different paint scheme.
Bring that paint scheme with him to the chase. He's got 2 good cars, clearly. Next time around will be the white flag. This is just where you now want to cross your fingers, hope nothing fails on this last lap, nothing crazy happens.
Oh, with this big of a gap, you just coast.
No, you could. Easily could. I think his last couple corners, I gotta say, I'm impressed, and a huge congratulations to this driver. A now 2-time Racing FARCA winner. One of the hardest things to do, he has just pulled off.
Yeah, that's the first repeat winner we've had in a long time.
And then 2nd place finishes Trent McPherson, followed by Anissa Johnson. Both of those of the Western Auto Racing crew. In 4th was Lubricar Motorsports' Tim Salmon. 2 part-time guys finishing the top 10 this race. Also, 3 out of the 5 cars in the top 10 were Dodges. And such a good effort still winless this season. Chevy, despite their blown motors, won today. Again, we knew this would be an endurance race. Quite crazy as far as the strategy was that at the beginning of this race really narrowed it down to really just a top 5 race, and a late caution brought Kyle Keith to an opportunity to lead the race after the 27 did have to pit. They could not move themselves around him. So Chevy's got some security in the chase now. We're getting really close to Homestead. We are now moving down to our last 5 races before the chase.
Yeah, we got Auto Club next week, another California track.
We're staying here on our little West Coast swing. Expect a fast, high-paced race here, so a completely different field you'll probably see racing up front. I believe that's pretty much going to be one of the last short track races until the chase. So, for now, though,
yeah,
congratulations.
The next short track we have is Bristol, I believe.
That'll be the Expo Markers Night Race. That'll be a good race.
And we also have a dirt race thrown in somewhere soon.
Yep, we'll be at Knoxville Speedway. More heat races will be following there, of course. Anything you have to say before we sign off?
Congrats to Kyle Keith for doing probably the hardest thing to do in this league.
Something that you will see pretty rarely.
Win 2 races in a season.
And on top of that, a big thank you to our new broadcaster, TNT. We appreciate all of the new animation styles that you guys have given us to it. You have a very nice setup. We were happy to be using this for the next 7 or so races before the chase, next 5 or so races before the chase starts. So we will see you guys at Auto Club Speedway for 50 laps for AAA Auto Insurance. 38 cars will be racing there at the 2-mile D-shaped oval. Thank you guys for coming out to the same city, the LA stop at Irwindale Speedway. And a big thank you also to Tom Dale for helping put on this race at a track that almost got torn down. Chaos is done and over. Our first endurance race in the book. We will see you guys next week.